Hello, nice people. This is Sean, and this is Motorbikes and Nonsense. Welcome to my channel. There once was a bike named Joy. She was a 2020 Kawasaki Versys-X 300. I rode her to Wyoming, Colorado, Utah, and by necessity, Nebraska. I love that bike. Joy was my first motorbike. So why, pray tell, would I trade her in for what I'm currently riding, a 2021 BMW F750 GS? Video, I want to explain why I traded up, the differences between the bikes, as well as give my review of my current motorbike. Here we are, my favorite little bridge. And no, I'm not skilled enough to do that U-turn. So one of the major differences between the bike I have now and the bike I had before is price. I paid roughly $6,000-ish, give or take, fees, etc., for the Kawasaki, and for this BMW somewhere in the range of $14,000. Part of that did include upgrading the tires to these beautiful Dunlop Trail Max Missions. So what do you get for that extra $8 grand? Well, the engine in the BMW is a parallel twin 855cc engine, making 75 horsepower, 60 something torque, pound-feet of torque. The Kawasaki, I'll put the specs up on the screen, but nowhere near that. With its 295-96cc parallel twin. To get the power out of the Kawasaki, you definitely needed to wind it up, because that is the same engine that came out of the Ninja 300. So most of its power was made in the neighborhood of about 10,000 RPM, whereas most of the power in the BMW is made somewhere around 6,000 to 7,500 RPM. So with that extra power, passing is definitely easier. Riding in the wind and going up hills is definitely easier. I know with the Kawasaki, there were times in wind and or going uphill where I definitely struggled. Oddly enough though, gas mileage is very similar. This bike does have the dynamic electronic suspension adjustment, which I do like, but has its limitations. You cannot exactly dial it in to wherever you might want it. It has presets. So it has a dynamic or a road preset, and then it has a preload for rider and luggage, or rider and passenger. So my BMW has riding modes. Most of the time I am in the road mode, which is kind of a middle of the road, pun intended. Throttle response, traction control, and ABS. There is dynamic, which has a slightly snappier throttle response. I do enjoy that, but I don't use it very often. I found that the road mode is perfectly adequate for most of the stuff I need to do. The enduro mode is for loose conditions, going off-road. I have never used it. There is also a rain mode, which mutes the throttle response even more, and then also I believe increases the traction control and ABS to make it better in slippery conditions. I have ridden in rain, but I have never used rain mode either. I am definitely beginning to wonder if riding modes are even worth it. I do get a second bike, or get a different kind of bike altogether, I don't know that riding modes are going to factor into my decision. If it has it, it has it. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And if given the option, I don't think I'm going to pay extra to have rider modes. One of my favorite things in the world is cruise control. Now, cruise control isn't just for the highway. It does make riding in wind considerably easier. You're fighting one less thing. It does give your throttle hand a rest as you need to. And as I've stated in previous videos, I still prefer B roads, but cruise control will always be my friend. Lighting. All right, so the BMW came with LED headlight, LED turn signals, LED brake light. The Kawasaki was halogen all the way around. The headlight on that, I'll put a picture up, was positively anemic. It did not light up very well, which does, during daylight hours and at nighttime, reduce your visibility. You want to be seen by other vehicles. BMW came with heated hand grips, which are a godsend. You can get, of course, factory aftermarket hand grips for just about any bike, but I do like the fact that they're integrated into the entire system. Also has the quick shifter, which allows you to change gears without engaging the clutch. Although when I picked up the bike, the BMW mechanic said to me, only use it shifting up. Only shift up. Do not use it to shift from first to second, because it has to go from first to neutral to second, so don't use it for that. Never use it to shift down. And I found that even going from second to third, and sometimes third to fourth, it's very clunky. So I don't use it that much. Without it being an up and down shifter, I don't know that it was necessarily worth it. So weight. The Kawasaki without any add-ons was 386-ish pounds. The BMW without any add-ons, 493-ish pounds. When I first got this bike, I definitely noticed the weight difference, but there is a lot more, has a little more substance to it. I've had to pick up the Kawasaki a few times, and that 400 pounds is still felt heavy. I've only had to pick up this bike once, and I'm going to try to avoid ever doing that again. Say hi, Joy. Riding the bike on sand, for me, kind of sucks. So when riding on sand and loose gravel, and I'm on some loose gravel right now, the BMW definitely feels more planted. Still kind of shimmies and shakes a little bit, but doesn't move around anywhere near as much as the Kawasaki did. Now, some of that could be the fact that I've just been riding more, I'm more experienced. Could also be the BMW has traction control. Oh, I actually came out here on a whole other day because I can't believe I forgot to mention this. The stock windscreen, and I'll throw a picture of that up on the screen here. The stock windscreen is garbage. During the test ride, if it weren't for the little dimple in the seat, I'm pretty sure I would have blown off the back of the bike. So almost immediately replaced it with this Z-Technic V-Stream something or other. Yeah, V-Stream, I got it. Wow! So, which is the better first bike? And I would definitely have to say for a first bike, the Kawasaki, hands down. Being lighter, being less power, being less expensive, definitely a better choice for a first bike. I had very limited experience. I pretty much went from the motorcycle safety course to the Kawasaki. I don't know that I could have done that safely and comfortably going straight to the BMW. The extra power is a little bit intoxicating, and I sometimes do enjoy myself a little bit. Hopefully not too much. So for a first bike with the Kawasaki, highly recommend. So as it happens, you know, I outgrew it. My skills got better. My desire to travel further definitely necessitated the bump in bike. Also, getting a new bike is fun. It's a lot of fun. So do I have any regrets trading it in? There's a little bit of nostalgia, but that is about it. I took a trip out to California, the Pacific Coast Highway. I've been on into 10 states with the BMW, and I cannot even begin to imagine doing the same kind of mileage as doing it on the Kawasaki. I'm an older gentleman. I'm 52. I started riding when I was 50. Having that little bit of extra comfort was definitely something, is definitely something I value. Also, being an older gentleman, I have to check my notes a lot. So yeah, any regrets in a word? No, not at all. That would actually be 3 words. So the new Joy, and yes, I call this bike Joy 2, Joy as well. The new Joy can and will take me anywhere I want to go. As I mentioned, you know, I've been out to California, up the Pacific Coast Highway. I rode this bike in San Francisco traffic. I'm pretty sure it can take me anywhere. That is until I trade in for something else, because I like bike. All right, so if you liked this video, please give a thumbs up and consider subscribing. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.